Good morning. Oh, I'm all sloppy. Look at my shirt's all not even fitting right. I reversed things. I was wearing my flannel over my t-shirt, and I'm like, well, that's gonna be really dark. How you all doing? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Pit Stop, where we are here to talk about sim racing. Here to drink a little bit of coffee because it's the morning and it's cold and keep us warm. And just some general BSing across the board. I mean, it's a slow news day. What does that mean? Slow news day. I don't have a whole lot to talk about today, which means you guys can really steer the show quite a bit, and we can talk about anything. Like I say in the title, I mean, we're the sim racing community, and sometimes our conversation goes beyond sim racing. So I'll go beyond sim racing. Any thoughts by anybody on Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari? Does that affect any of you? Does that change any of your day? Did any of you wake up and cheer or cry that Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari? I'll tell you what Formula One news made me react more than Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. I think mine was the official decline to Andretti Motorsport. Andretti officially not getting the approval to be in Formula One. I think that bothers me a little bit more. Actually, it was the context of the statement where Formula One literally made the quote of, and I'm not. This isn't word for word. This isn't verbatim. That Andretti did not bring enough name to Formula One, and that in fact Formula One would be lending too much name to Andretti Motorsport. and arguably that's true, but I mean I could start naming some teams in Formula One that I would say actually try potentially drag Formula One's name through the mud. Um, yeah, and well, and John Hill with that. I mean, the engine allocation, I believe, was part of the story, and I think they are going with GM Chevrolet. I don't know the nitty gritty details, but um, it's really the context was severely out of touch. Okay, so I'm not wrong then, Amir. You read it the same way I did. Um, so anyway, well, and was Haas gonna be involved with Andretti? I thought it was like a whole all American thing. I could be mistaken. I will confess I do not follow Formula One, as closely as many of you do. It does come up on my feed, and the Andretti one was a little bit different because I was really hoping for American presence. And here's the other thing that I don't understand about this is where I really truly don't understand this part of it. Yeah, so I think I also read that in 2026 is when the next gen Formula One cars are going to happen, and they'll revisit the topic if I'm not mistaken. Um, but here's what I don't understand: how many Formula One races are in the United States a year now? I mean, they're obviously very, very interested in the American market. Wouldn't it benefit them to have an all-American team? I mean, and now I don't mean that. I doubt. I don't know if Andretti would use all-American drivers or any of that. But um, yeah. Um, I'm just catching up with some of your guys. So we have hit a topic. The Andretti topic seems to be a lot bigger a conversation in our world uh, than Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. Um, yeah, really pissed. Minardi. Oh, you're just throwing out some names. Uh, yeah, they want GM in Formula One. American wants money and audience, just not a team of or drivers. Yeah. Um. Good morning to Andamargio. Blame Haas for being a sucky U.S. team. They spoiled the taste for another U.S. Yeah. Well, that. Yeah. That. That could be relevant. Like I said, I mean, and that's what part of that rejection letter and kind of slamming the Andretti name. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's very fair. Um, uh, okay, so the plan is for Andretti to come back in 2026 with Renault engines, and then 2028 switch to GM. Okay, so this likely is a stall more than an expedited. Let's get you in so that you can be back markers and blow up engines on our grid. I mean, maybe. I mean, forgive me for putting words into the situation there. Um, New regs come in 26, but they might have held it off till 28. Haas is investing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The other thing also, I know that the top teams in Formula One are worth billions of dollars, likely. Um, but I don't know if the amount of money it's going to take to put together a team that has a chance and likely not getting the same sponsorship as the big teams. I don't know. Maybe it isn't the best move, or maybe this is Formula One in a unfair in a unkind way, helping them be successful. If you really want to do this, it's going to take a little more time to develop and come in at this level. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, so obviously you guys definitely stay on top of and have interest in Formula One. I have not followed Formula One as closely in the last few years. I haven't followed racing in general as closely as I used to. Not any reason. There's no real reason for it. Time allocation is the letter was a lot of opinion and not fact based. That's kind of the way I read it as well, Amir. Funny, we kind of have the same opinion there. All right, but nobody cares about Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton joining up. No one? No one's shedding a tear? No one's having a celebration? Tom Jones! I am not dumping money into a sim pit Formula One team. I think it would take too much money to get a return on the investment. I think we can use our money a lot wiser. We will put it into FPS, buddy. Thank you so much, Tom. Let me give you the appropriate.
Whoa,
Very nice, very
very
nice. Thank you,
nice.
thank you so much, Tom. uh, team and driver I could care less about. Yep. Can you believe Lewis is going to Ferrari? Daniel, that's what I was just trying to get people to care about. Um, so, Daniel, if that's your team, can you tell? I didn't read up on it. So, who's losing their seat at Ferrari? Do we know that? I wasn't sure. Like, if are they gonna? There's always a number one and number two driver. I'm assuming they're putting Hamilton into the number one driver position. Does that mean Leclerc gets dropped to number two? And would he stand for that? Or does that mean he's gone? I don't know. Like I said, I don't follow Carlos. So he is gone. So yeah, I mean a lot of drivers live in purgatory in Formula 1, right? Did you guys see that chart with the pay scale? Oh, Sainz is going. So does that mean Leclerc is happily taking a second spot? He's going to be a bridesmaid to the team? Did you look? Have you guys? It was all over my feeds over the last week. Did you guys see that pay discrepancy between drivers on certain Formula One teams? Yeah, I would really like to see Andretti in Formula One. It seems like it would be a right thing to do. It seems like it would be a really good fit. Um, where the Andretti name differs from some other names that are is that Andretti never built a car themselves, I guess. Number one driver. So Brad Morrison. Oh, it just showed like what Max Verstappen gets paid versus who's the other driver. I could try to find it. We might see it when we scroll a little bit. Um, uh, so there have been scenarios where we had number one drivers on teams. And as much as I don't like the idea that they would play politics in the team like that, it it usually saves things, Anyway, that could be very interesting going forward. Will these two drivers battle each other? Will they be given the same equipment? Blah blah blah. Right. Hamilton will show Leclerc how to win. All right. That same argument was made for Max Verstappen in the very beginning, if you guys remember, if you have a long memory. He was deadly fast, but he was crashing a lot of cars in his early years. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the update there. Nicholas Hansen. Nicholas Hansen. Order the Sim Magic GT Neo after our live. When you get the stuff, you'll challenge. Do you accept the challenge? What is the challenge? I will say, Nicholas, I'll tell you this. I've been expediting that review, and I am super happy with that wheel. You made a good purchase. You'll be very happy. Max 25 million, the other guy 250. Not quite that bad, but almost, Tom. Yeah. Egos are too. Yeah, this is like a fight within the fight of the Formula One grid. This is awesome. This could be totally entertaining. Maybe this is the year I'm back. Yeah, Tom Jones, wouldn't we all? Yep, Dan, I'm with you there. Nicholas Hansen, F123 or Assetto Corsa. What are you trying to get out of your sim racing career? Would be my answer. Assetto Corsa would be my default because it leaves you total freedom. F123, you were locked into Formula One cars and a simcade type driving environment. No, and I don't mean anything bad. I'm not trying to talk smack. But Assetto Corsa is definitely more serious. And do you mean Assetto Corsa, the moddable original, or do you mean Assetto Corsa Competizione, where you are locked into GT3 and GT4 cars? Just for fun? If it's just for shits and giggles, F123 is certainly fun, especially if you're kind of new to the whole driving genre. Playing the career, it's not a bad experience at all. For getting into seriousness of any kind, hands down, Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa, the original, is the last sim that can really give you that ability to name any car. If it had a following whatsoever, you're going to be able to drive it in Assetto Corsa. Name a track if it's famous at all. Maybe not some super duper small club tracks, but if it's famous at all, you can probably drive whatever car that was on that track. And that is, to me, some of the lost and forgotten heart and soul of sim racing. And I mean that in all seriousness. As we argue and get sucked into licensing agreement conversations and problems with our sims, the true heart and soul for me of sim racing was the ability to emulate driving things that I'd never be able to do in real life. That is the beauty of what we do. And so for me, like picking a car, I could be like, oh, I want to really drive a 1968 Shelby Cobra, and I want to take it out at Willow Springs, and bam, you're going to be able to do that. That is such a unique experience that even in gaming isn't very common. It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, and it again, it's been forgotten and it's kind of lost. So, Assetto Corsa, yes, that's where you can do that, and it's sort of apples and oranges of Sims to compare. By the way, I'd have to talk to you more in detail about what you wanted to truly give you my proper opinion on that. Um, our Discord, Nicholas, it's gonna be really hard for me to remember that during or after the show. There is a link to our Discord in the description of this show right here. And if you come into our Discord, you can send me a private message on there, and I will totally engage in this conversation with you fully. That goes for anybody in the chat, by the way. I'm very open. I don't hide behind any kind of firewall or any kind of castle or employees fielding emails. No, I'm here. I'm on Discord. I'm at my email. There is no one else other than Amir. You can contact him directly. Uh, F1 has a super fun career mode. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. So if you're just looking for some offline fun and you want to do that, it does that really well. But Assetto doesn't necessarily do that very well. I have seen. I love the sim rig mod where it's literally a sim rig. So it's a guy sitting in a rig and it's just cruising around a bunch of race cars. It's awesome. Uh, I've seen shopping cart racing on Assetto Corsa as well. Um, Ricardo left Red Bull because he felt disrespected by the team favoring Max Verstappen. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's pretty normal, isn't it? Dan, F you, Dan. F you, buddy. um, Daniel Case, I will. Okay, so Daniel Case, I don't know if you know this, but Amir and I are having a rig build off. I'm calling mine the Forever rig. Terry Sanders, I missed your hello. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm calling mine the Forever rig, and everyone else seems to be nicknaming it the For Never rig, like this episode will never happen. Amir has made big advances. I've built my rig out of 80/20 profile, the cheapest stuff, the 1-inch 80 by 20, literally the 1-inch one slot. I will inventory up my sticks and get a price so that when I do my episode 1 of the backbone of my rig, I will try to cost it out. Now, we're still a little ways away from that episode, but I think that you can. It's the seat. Yeah, minus the seat. I think you can get it done for 300. I do think so. I've done a few designs. I think if you looked it up on the SimPit at YouTube, you would find an original one where you could get it. It's a pretty solid design. That one worked. The original one worked really well. This one still needs a little work, and it'll get there. Just don't like braking. You mean the brake pedal in AC specifically, Terry Sanders? Speaking of Discord, Dan, you accept my friend request. Yeah, there you go. We got to get our group going. That's coming up this month. 17th, is that the Saturday? I think Saturday the 17th. We're going to have an all-star panel for the SimPit podcast. That's Saturday the 17th, I believe. And that's going to be me, Amir, Dan DiMaggio, and Billy Strange, if all goes well. So, real excited about that coming up. You have the SimX Pro Lusamotor 2S. The seat and formula is very nice. Ooh, that sounds nice. I don't know what that is specifically. It sounds cool. Dan DiMaggio playing dumb on Discord. ACC Spatial Dragon. How you doing, Tim? ACC is incredible with your new Fanatic GT DD 8 Newton-meter wheel, inverted pedals, and stationary shifter paddles, and your Club Sport shifter. Awesome, I'm sure. That's a nice setup. Good setup. Part 1 in the next week or so, which means I am going to have to get off my ass and get mine together. I've filmed a lot. I need to put the story together a little bit better. Joa. Joa. Daniel will be retired before Sean's rig is done. Bears Junkie, you haven't missed a whole lot. Just to keep, I'll get you up to speed. We've really only covered 3 topics. We've covered Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. We've talked about Andretti being rejected by Formula One. And now we've briefly moved on to 80-20 rigs, specifically mine and Amir's rig build-off. Tom Jones asks why I am not racing in that PESC league. You mean the top Porsche league? One reason only. Lack of talent. That's it. We had a max spotting. Hey, buddy, how you doing? My poor dog's getting old, and he's got fleas, and I was up. So dog owners will relate to what I'm saying. Everyone else can tune out. My dog, I have a headache right now. At 4 o'clock yesterday and at 4:15 this morning, my dog jumped on my bed, decided to lay over me, trying to get me to wake up. And yesterday it worked very quickly. Well, he's getting old, so I was like, do you have to go out? So at 4 in the morning, I'm up and walking my dog. He didn't even have to go out, by the way. He just, I don't know. This morning, I played like I was still asleep. So I'm asleep. He climbs and lays over me. I ignore him. He sits there for like, Sean gave Max fleas. Lays there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then he gets off of me and then starts trying to burrow under my pillows that I'm sleeping on, and then rolling on me. And anyway, 4:15 this morning, I was up. And so that's just 2 nights in a row. No sleep. It's like having a baby. Having an old dog is like having a baby in terms of sleep. No comparing having a dog of any kind to a baby. Just sleep. This is a cool mug. I'll tell you why. Can you guys read it? It says mini mansions providing hope and homes to break the cycle of poverty. I don't want to tell you guys who my brother works for now. It's the same kind of company, but not that same company. Mini mansions, not my brother's favorite job in the world in terms of that company, but they really, really were committed to that line. It wasn't just a tax write-off or whatever. It was a really good company. They really cared about the residents. I'm not here to promote them. I don't care about that. But anyway, that is what that mug is, just so you know. All right. As long as you guys keep them coming, we will delay getting into the news. When we get into the news, we're like 5 minutes away from being done. I only have like 8 tabs, and nothing is that. Actually, one of them is super significant. Other than that, nothing else. David S. is late. Just had a wisdom tooth. Oh. No. I don't recommend being awake for that one. No. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Tomorrow at 4 a.m., Max will take it up a notch and fart on John. Yeah, me too, Tom. I like that too. It's one of my favorite things about the mug. All right. Any other comments, questions, thoughts on Hamilton Ferrari, Andretti Formula One, or 80-20 rigs? Or finding people on Discord. Is that the case? Is that right, Daniel? Is that the case, Daniel Case? I was wondering about that. I thought they were a publicly held company, and I was wondering with everything going on, what is their? Yeah. Too. Yeah. Well, and Bears, and it's like, because you know what? I guess there are 2 philosophies. If anybody has a dog and can relate to the thought of something going on in the house somewhere with the dog, number 1 or number 2. And there are some people who are just like, whatever, it is what it is, I'm going to sleep. And then there are others who obsess and will need to get up and deal with it immediately. I am one of those. The other problem is I suffer from low-level insomnia. But my version of insomnia is I actually am able to fall asleep quite well. I'm a very restless sleeper, and then at some point, and it's irrelevant to how much sleep I've gotten or how much I need, I am just awake, and there is no way to shut it down. So unfortunately, when this happens at like 4 in the morning, I'm done. Um, so, yeah, well, that's too bad. That's too bad. You know. All right, all right. Um, well, in that case, we're talking about the base itself, right, Nicholas? To be fair, the Neo is just what's in your hand. Now, I will say it's a very rigid wheel, so it's gonna, and it's smaller than some wheels, 300 millimeter. It's gonna be a very strong force feedback feeling wheel at its size. But yeah. All right. Anything else before we move into the news, dudes? Yeah, and I heard it's gonna be an early spring, John Hill, Groundhog Day here in America. Um, the Fanatic wheel. It's. I don't know if I would use the word better. Better is a opinion. It doesn't have to be better. Can be better. But in general, when we're arguing over better, I think it's more about opinion than performance to an extent. You have a single day of winter in North Carolina. I definitely had some winter. It's raining here today. It's been raining the last few days, and we have more rain on the way, which I'm thrilled about, by the way. The movie that other movies love the premise. Oh yeah, Groundhog Day, sure. And John, you're our film aficionado. What movie did they copy? Because I'm assuming it goes way before Bill Murray and the Groundhog Day that I'm thinking of. What is the original of the Groundhog Day story? And I bet it even goes back to maybe even books or something before movies. Yes, Daniel Case, we have a very popular Discord, great loyal group, lots of great threads. So if you're looking for racing series or help with any of the Formula One or Assetto Corsa, we've got threads for all of that, and yeah, all that stuff. PS4, I think that a lot of people who are still fanatics, once you're in the ecosystem, there's really no reason to break out of it. If you have operating Fanatic gear, there's no reason to not buy their newer wheel or newest wheel if it's in stock and available. I think the problem right now with Fanatic is more for the new users coming into the market, where SimMagic and Moza are giving very good options and have stock ready to go. And I think that's really the bigger problem. I really, honestly, just fairly, I've been very happy with the Fanatic gear that I've used over the years. Oh, check it out. So JK, this is proof is in the pudding, though. Finally canceled his order by 2.5x yesterday. Thanks to his frustration with Fanatic, he now owns a Simucube and Azatec bases. We'll be interested to see if they ever win him back. Yeah, that's exactly what. That's why their name is a little in the mud right now. Not underwater in the mud. Ordered the V2s on Black Friday, got them a week or so. Yeah, it is hit and miss, Daniel. I'm glad you said that, because I have definitely heard of people who ordered and got things right away and blah, 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 blah. That's one of the things I really like about the Neo wheel. Like right here I have my GSI. I can get 3 buttons without any pivot of my palms. So when you think about using a Formula One style wheel accessing the buttons, can you actually reach them with your thumbs, or do you have to actually start to move the palms on the wheel, right? So is it 100% just thumb articulation? And truthfully, I only have two on each side that I can get. On that Neo wheel, I got 3 buttons and 2 twisties without any pivot of the palms. Really, really like that wheel's layout. Amir mentioning, so there's a link there. This is very important. Anybody watching, hello. Hello, here, let's go to the rant camera for this. In the chat, Amir just put a link, and it says, a heads up for everyone. We are in the final days of our SimPit survey. This is very important. We'd really appreciate it if you took some time to help us shape the future of the SimPit. There it is. We are just a couple dozen questions. You don't even have to answer them all. There are some that are marked critical because we really need your answers on them. All we're trying to do is make the biggest, baddest, best sim racing show on Earth. And your guys' opinions are going to go a long way in helping us get there. So if you haven't, please fill out the form. We're going to end that coming up shortly. So not a lot of time to help out the direction of the show. And it's one of those things like, hey, if you watch the show and you didn't give us your opinion, and in 6 months you're like, I don't like what your guys are doing, well, you could have helped out. You could have helped out. I'm not a genius. I'm just me. Amir's just Amir. We're trying really hard, but we're not perfect. We're not geniuses. Yeah, Dan said it. I agree 100%. If you're already in the ecosystem, stick with it. There is no improvement from one wheelbase to another in the direct drive world that justifies throwing out the ecosystem. Period. End of topic. I mean, like, if you already have 2 wheel rims and a base, upgrade your base, but stay in the ecosystem. Don't throw it all out. It would be a waste. You will not get your return on your investment. Yeah, Tom Jones, exactly. And this is I say this about sim gear at this point in time. I think most things that if they're going to go bad, it's going to happen pretty quickly because it was probably a manufacturing defect. If you have operational gear, it's probably going to last you 5-10 years to the point that technology might even change. you know, they are, but their stuff is made in China, so it's German engineered, Chinese built. Yeah, shipping lines are really. I don't want to get political here. Dan brings up another great point. I'm so glad we have Dan on the show on the podcast on the 17th. That is, I better check my dates. Amir didn't correct me, so that makes me think I have it right. Yeah, the 17th, so that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. So yeah, shipping is a little slowed down right now, and that can affect and where it's coming from, where it's going. And one he goes to the future without ever having lived, so he doesn't repeat. But yes, it's playing with time. No, I don't mean playing with time. I literally meant specifically the waking up and repeating the same day every day Groundhog story. Has that been done prior to the movie? Just sucks because they got so many people started. Just hates it. Daniel, time heals all wounds. Give it enough time. I'm just gonna assume that there's a few oversights and a few things that will be recoverable, and everything will be back to normal in a certain amount of time. Yeah, it is. I've seen it so many times too, Joa. Just constantly sick of waiting for, canceled my order and moved on. Yeah, we have had some great and super honest and really helpful answers on the survey. So thank you for everybody who's already done it. Thank you, Amir. Amir is perfect, and he's not sure about me. I will testify that I am not even remotely perfect, not even close. Yeah, exactly. It's more of a Christmas Carol, like 3 ghosts, or 3 time period. AJ, we haven't even moved into the news. All we've been doing is BSing and drinking some coffee. So that's what you missed. We have talked about. Let me go over the topics that you have missed. It was Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. It was Andretti being declined by Formula One. It was 80-20 rigs for a budget of $300. And then we kind of moved into a, I'm not going to call it fanatic bashing, fanatic conversation has been going on. So there you go, AJ. I think I got you up to speed. Swags asked, do I like EAWRC? Yeah, I think it's a pretty good effort. I'm pretty impressed with the game overall. With that said, me personally, when I drove Monaco, which is super narrow tarmac, I did not have a good time and I did not enjoy myself. When I moved to the second rally that we did in the Simpit Rally series in the snow at Sweden, I totally enjoyed myself. So yeah, I think overall it's a pretty decent game. Little simcade, but I mean, you hit the wall a few times, you won't call it a simcade. No, it is not. No, we're doing the Simpit podcast on the 14th. Thank you, Tom. Tom Jones, everybody. Yeah. Oh, so JK brings up another. PlayStation compatibility is the one thing that Fnatic really still have going for them, don't they? You see Moza with some Xbox compatibility, and I know that Sim Magic was using with that one box that I think got them in the PlayStation as well. But yeah, that is something that Fnatic still has for sure. Will there be a comment response video? Tom Jones, I don't know. Oh, yes, there will be. Yes, there will be. Sorry. Swags, real briefly, because I did cover it already. My thoughts on Andretti. I don't know enough to be really a good opinion, on the topic. I feel I'm disappointed and I'm a little confused. And the reason I'm disappointed is because I was really pulling for Andretti and pulling for an American team. I'm confused because all I see is Formula One doing more and more races in America, obviously trying to capture the American audience. Wouldn't it be even easier if you allowed the Andretti team coming in? I didn't like some of their wording because they kind of, in a weird way, slammed Andretti by saying they thought that Andretti didn't bring enough name recognition to Formula One, while Formula One would be giving far too much credibility or recognition to Andretti. There was some details about the power unit supplier. Would the car be ready? All of this stuff. I don't know much about all of that, but I just in the ultimate, I didn't like the wording, and I felt that they could have been a little more diplomatic if they want to really work with the team and the public in making this happen. That's my take on it in a nutshell. The Monty Master. I must have missed something. The Monty. You should have consulted the Monty Master for the Monte Carlo Rally. You live in Sweden. I wish I could live in Sweden. I'd love to move to Sweden. Well, I need to visit there. In theory, I'd move to Sweden. I would move to any Nordic country in Europe. Moses is going to buy Fnatic. I don't know if they need to. They've already basically replaced their entire lineup. Bears really liking WRC, having fun with it. Awesome, me too. I'll tell you what I was having fun with this last week. I fired up and was playing American Truck Simulator. I have a friend who comes by and kind of does some work. He's trying to get into sim racing a little bit. Comes and does some work here, and he's trying to get into sim racing. And we had him running some ATS. And when he left, I jumped in, and I ended up firing it up like 3 or 4 more times and drove like, I don't know, probably like 20 missions and earned like $100 and something thousand on just quick missions. Um, um, just did the survey. Need to be able to choose more than one platform on that question because Xbox and PC. Okay, Dan. I don't know if we had the ability to multiples or not, but very relevant. Very relevant. Thank you. Brian wants Fanatic for the PS compatibility, and then quickly realized he never sim race on his PlayStation anymore. Yeah. Oh, Brian, the evolution that sim racing brings is awesome. Uh, NASCAR had some drama with the charter situation and media pay percentages. It could be doomsday if they don't figure it out by the end of 2024. Yeah, I talked about that last week. I was a little confused, and I think it's older than my memory of the charter situation. But when I realized that that's the way they're doing it now, it kind of upset me. I mean, I guess it's the I don't know what's right or wrong there. I really enjoyed when it was just one man, his iRating, and his ability to earn his way into that series. And it just disappoints me the minute that sim racing gets broken into teams having ownership over drivers. And what have these teams done for sim racing historically? And again, when I do make my opinion be known on the whole charter situation, it started with Formula One, the esports series. And then you look at Rensport, and it was like an invite only, and half of them weren't even sim racing teams. Most of these teams overcharged us for licenses or laughed at our sport or hobby. Um, Most of them would want no affiliation whatsoever unless they could get a bunch of money out of it. And so for decades, where were they? Where were they doing anything? Where were they giving any opportunity, any credence of credibility whatsoever to sim racing? And it didn't exist. Um, and now we just give them control, power. I'm not down with that at all. And I'm sure there's a million reasons, money being number one. Um, but no, no, it doesn't sit well with me at all. Um, it doesn't. It really doesn't. What I need to do is get my Stream Deck back in action so I can actually do it by button. Right now, I'm flying by mouse. Oh, Amir, hold on. I have to make one change to the show right now before I forget. Oh, come on, come on. Here we go. Doot doot doodle doot 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 doodle doot 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 doot. Do you see what we're doing? I could probably do it faster than this. I should use this camera more often on the show. Here, I can't. I was having trouble grabbing it with my mouse, but there we go. All right, that's right. We wanted to put the camera over there because I guess if you're watching on a TV, the chat goes right over my face. All right. Rant cam was activated. That's right. That's right. Sorry. Turtle Beach. Wait. R9. EK. Sorry, EK. I almost missed your conversation there. Moza R9 thoughts. I love the Moza R9. I think it's a really good middle power wheel. It's where you need. It's right where you need the power to be. Any more, you're probably just getting a workout. Tom Jones, I want to get my VR running. I have VR on that machine where we run or we're running the truck, and I just didn't pull it down and plug it in. I really, really do want to do some VR. VR and truck simulator go hand in hand. It's almost necessary. Necessary? ATS. David Payne. So I was just cruising down the road, and I'm running in California, so some of the scenery seems very familiar because I know most of California by hand. Like the back of my hand, I should say. And I had my Moza trucker hat on. Oh, here's my Rick Motec. So I'm doing my trucker thing. I had my hat on, and I had my H pattern hooked up, and I'm cruising, and I had a button map to change the radio, And I was just like clicking through the radio channels, and I'm like, oh, all right, I like this song, cool. And then night would come, I'd turn on my lights, and yeah, it was really, really relaxing and fun. I really enjoyed it. The only thing, and I told Amir this in a conversation actually. I just wish that the physics of the truck driving were a little more hardcore, like with like jackknifing and the braking when you're trying to slow the thing down with a heavy load, and I would love to see a little more of that in the game. Turtle Beach stated their new DD wheel will have 7.2 newton meters, not 7, not 7.5, but 7.21 gigawatts. RBR is king. It is indeed. It is indeed, Bears Junkie. Anyone watching the new NASCAR show on Netflix? I don't have Netflix, so I'm not. I'd like to. I did send an email to Turtle Beach. I did not hear back from them. So I should try again. Daniel Case agrees with me. Thank you on that. On the rant, I'm assuming. RBR is sweet. Just wish all the modders would move to WRC Gen. I should use that cam more. Thank you, John Hill. Rumors modders are working on WRC Generations. A slide. That was the Sean slide. The size of the motor on the Turtle Beach motor is concerning. It would be surprising if it's more than 3. For that price, it's 5, maybe. Well, Joe is pretty good at getting real information, by the way. Joe is not a BSer. So if he said 7.2, I tend to trust that a little bit. Throttle's been fixed for some cars. I added another piece of news to Discord. Sorry if you already had it. Dan, I'll try to remember to go check it out. That's faster than he races. Was that to me? Was that a shot at me? Oh, my slide. Thank you, Joa. The big view. Yes. No, my rant cam, I call it. Is that what that is, Tom Jones? Volume? It was just I had my mic in a different position. I'm using this mic for the show now. Have I tried the Bash Pro shifter? I don't think so, Tetley. I can try to reach out to them and see if we can get one. Physics and ATS. Yeah, there was a mod you added to ATS that gave more realistic suspension and braking physics. It is one of the easiest modded sims out there. That's one of the great things about ATS. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything loaded. I had like a totally, it was like a brand new, I've played it many a time before, but it was deleted. So like it was a brand new account name, like starting from 0, no mods whatsoever. PS4, a friend of yours used Euro Truck to help him pass. Oh, I can see how it would 100% help you. And here's the thing that I say about gamey sims. Do we need the rant? I guess when it's not a news story, I can always do this, John. When it comes to gamey sims, you don't have to treat it like a gamey sim. So as I sit here and I make the accusation that ATS by default is far too easy to drive in terms of like, you just can't take a loaded 18. I've never driven an 18-wheeler, I don't know. But from what I understand and I see on the highway, you cannot just take an 18-wheeler and go to the off-ramp and slam on the brakes and just kind of skip a few gears and come in. It will not work out well. You cannot just swerve around traffic like a madman at 55. The game allows you to do that. But you don't have to drive it that way. You can still choose to follow the rules of the road. You can still follow the physics-ish of what a truck is supposed to do. And yeah, well, and that's the thing, like dealing with trailers, and yeah, I didn't even bring that up. The parking and understanding the reverse steering of moving the rear trailer. It's not that easy, and you kind of need to make it motor memory if you're really going to do something like that for real. Chris asks, Beam NG with AI traffic and 84,000 of milk in a tanker is more fun. Chris, I have been dying to do another session of Beam NG. In fact, I'm gonna beg and plead with you guys. Beg and plead. Beg and plead. I would love to do another Beam NG episode. Here's what I want from you guys. You can put it in chat now, but the best way, if you really want to make sure I cover something when I do it, like your example of AI traffic and 84,000 pounds of milk, I would love for you guys to send me an email. So I'm going to give you my email right now. It is Sean. My name is SHAUN. SHAUN at thesimpit.com. Or you can send me a private message on our Discord channel. And I'm Sean Cole on our Discord channel. There's a link to the Simpit Discord channel in the show. Let me know your favorite mod. Let me know, hey, if you're going to do another episode of Beam NG, I need you to do this because it's the most fun thing I've ever done or the coolest thing I've ever seen. I would love some suggestions on what is the best stuff to do with Beam NG. Yeah, flood me. I invite you. I invite you to flood my email with these suggestions. All right. There is very little news to talk about, you guys. It's going to be a short show. I just want to prepare you guys for that. I don't have a lot to say. Not a lot going on in sim racing. Like I say, I open it up. Karaoke Blokey! Hey, Karaoke Blokey! You know, you're helping us out with frame rate. Just so you know,
nice.
we're doing a big drive to get a new computer here to improve our FPS on the show and get it so we can start streaming things back in racing the way we want to do. I will do my best to keep up the good work. Thank you, Karaoke Blokey. Thank you very much. Rock crawling and the rally stuff is cool in Beam. Awesome. Yeah, I believe they do. I don't know what it takes to put one together, but we can do our best. I'd love to make if we could do a Simpit community Beam session, that would be freaking awesome. That would be freaking awesome. Proper VR support. Yes, VR support. VR, man. It's a yin and yang industry. We need the software to work with the hardware to work with the software. We need the software to start pushing the hardware and the hardware to start taunting the software to do more with it. We need more of that yin and yang for us to get there with VR for sure. I'm waiting on it. I'm hoping. Crossing my fingers. I'm excited. All right. I'll tell you what, you guys. This is the show today that we're going to end up taking a break just for me to go to the bathroom. I am all hopped up on coffee since 4 a.m. We do have more to talk about. Anyone joining the show, should we go through the list of what what they missed? Do we need to do that again to keep everybody up to speed? Oh, I just got a response from Amir. Oh, wow. Look at that. And Joa sent me something. Okay, hold on. I'm going to open this one right now. We get a close-up of the, we were just talking about the Turtle Beach wheel. So, there you go. There's what we wanted. Like I said, Joa doesn't BS. If Joa says something, it means he has something. So, yeah, here's a shot of the Velocity 1 race wheel by Turtle Beach with their K-Drive motor, which, you know, I'm looking at my Mini Mite here, which is a little longer, which when we look at the shapes, like Moses is the best example if you want to know without pulling a Barry Rollins and tearing it apart. If you really want to like see where the differences are in force feedback, if you look at the Moza R3, R5, R9, R12, you get an idea of motors and how they get their power or where it is. So this looks like about the same shape as my Mini Mite, but shorter. My mini mite is capable of, I don't remember the exact number. I believe it might be 15. Did I hear 15? Anyway, this easily could be a 7 Newton meter wheel, I think. I moved windows around and now everything's all screwed up. All right, I think I've restored normal. Chat got small though. Okay. Yeah, short show, almost an hour later. What do you know? I'm good with that. I'm having fun. You guys entertain me, I will entertain you, and we'll be here all day. That's okay. Always take the mic off before. Yeah, no hot mic moments here, hopefully. Chris asks, have I ever entered the F11 World Editor? No, I have not, Chris. Dan, I'm gonna try. So Amir, you forwarded me the one from Dan from the in the news section. Thank you. I'm all jacked up on coffee, Tom. VR, what's that? I am not an easy person to keep on task, Amir. That is true. I own it. I own it. I am that. Thank goodness I find LA Kinetic response. All right, round up. Lewis is riding a pony. Oh, PS4, giving you a recap. Lewis is riding a pony. Moza is the best. Assetto Corsa is cool. Turtle Beach is absolutely going to have 7.2. There's your recap. Thank you. All right. What else? Anything else? Cruising the LA canyons in a 997 GT2 while watching. There you go. So I'm assuming you're in Assetto Corsa, Jay. We were talking about Assetto Corsa specifically, and I was talking about being able to do just about anything you want. And there you are, cruising down the street in your 6'4". Looks like small in relation to the QR. I'm not sure. AccuForce is 16 peak if it's the same. I believe it is. So yeah, 15, 16. Absolutely. That's we need a banana for scale. How's the SimMagic P1000? Really good pedals. I just so you know, I actually have the P1000 sitting on my rig behind me. Now, truth be told, I was just testing out a bunch of stuff. So I did the pedal review, then we did the haptics, then we did the hydraulic add-on, and now I have the hydraulic throttle pedal add-on. So they're constantly under testing, but I'm really enjoying those pedals. Been very, very happy with them. Brake and throttle feel. What I like is how easy it is to change out and adjust the brake. Their elastomer system works out really well for dialing it in and being able to do it very quickly and easily. I think that's one of the best things about the P1000 pedal, especially in the brake. Right on, Jay. Right on. Enjoy cruising. Keep on cruising. Oh, yeah, John, I've heard. Yeah, so John Hill, if you guys don't know, I know John Hill offline, online, and offline. We hang out quite a bit. Shared stories. So back in the days, back when you could do this. No, but, back in what was the actual racing? This would be, I think, the 70s were when the Canyon Racers, the James Dean, is that the guy who died in the Porsche Speedster? The Mulholland Canyon Racing, LA Canyons, Laurel Canyon, Coldwater Canyon. I used to jam on all of those I had a 83 Mazda GLC was my first car. And I used to rail those roads, but you guys used to race them back then. All right, I am getting if you guys don't, I have tapped out all of my rants. I have tapped out all of my non-direct news story related topics. Anything else before we move on to the news? Anything else? King of the Mountain. That's right. That's it. Dennis Hopper, Harry Hamlin. I remember that. No, I've seen that movie. I've seen that many, many a time. Yes, there was a Chips Canyon Racers. He died. Wasn't that on the highway by Paso Robles, if I'm not mistaken, between the 5 and the 101? I think that's where he actually died. But he was on his way to Mulholland. It depends on our news load, Tom. It really does. I'm on the fence. Two in the news. Two in the news. I must have missed something there, Daniel. Forgive me. It must be awesome to do the canyon. Nice one, loved it. Yeah, there's some, but I mean, no joke. Those are legitimate canyons. You go off the side, it's bad news, and it happened to many a fool. Just do it. Just just face it. It's time for old man diapers, and you just go when you gotta go. All right. So yesterday morning, I woke up and I'm a little late on a video. I missed a video that I was supposed to do. So I think it was yesterday morning that I woke up and there was a message from Amir on our Discord saying, "Tisk tisk, where's the blah 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 video?" And I'm like, oh man, I had all these outside factors. I had all these bullshit excuses for why it wasn't done. Anyway, but Amir to the rescue, he had a video that had been loaded and ready to go for yesterday's release. We try to get a video out every Thursday, sometimes more than that. So anyway, when I woke up in the morning, I noticed that this video, it had been there for a few days, was ready to go, and I watched it. And this is the video that Amir put out yesterday, and it's called the Simpit's Most Anticipated Driving / Racing Games of 2024. And to me, this is a really big, cool thing, because I'm like, that's the kind of video that you never would have gotten from me. And so as much as I love what I do, and, I get, but like I said, I'm not perfect. I don't think of everything. I'm not always, awesome. Or maybe I am, but but I don't think of everything. All right. And here comes Amir with just a totally different style video. And I said this all the time about everybody has different takes, different thought processes, different strokes for different folks. And I thought this was a great video that Amir did. And actually, I am going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'm going to play the video, and I'm going to leave you guys with it. And I am going to real quick go to the bathroom, and then we'll come back and talk about what's going on in 2024 in sim racing titles.
Welcome back, Pit Crew, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the racing and driving titles that I'm really excited for this year in 2024. The first title that we have up is Le Mans Ultimate. Do you know it's been already more than 20 years since we've had a dedicated game for Le Mans, and that goes all the way back to 2000 when we have Test Drive Le Mans. And it's great to have another title that's dedicated for this world-renowned endurance race. And it's not just going to be about Le Mans, as the title says, but it's going to be focused on the World Endurance Championship. And the timing couldn't be even better because with the announcement of the new GTP class, we're having a lot of manufacturers pouring resources in to build these exciting race cars like Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, that are committing themselves to these 24-hour races and endurance series. At the core of this game is a technology that's really established itself in R-Factor 2 as the gold standard in simulation. Studio 397 is behind this title, and with this game, like I said, it goes beyond just a single circuit, which is incorporating the whole entirety of the World Endurance Championship season. And for those that are apprehensive and daunted about the prospects of doing a full 24-hour race, don't worry about it, because there is going to be an asynchronous mode that gives you the flexibility to...
Oh, was the sound too low? I'm sorry, you guys. I should have checked
Or
that
even
before I
there's
left.
going to be a co-op mode where you can hand off your stints to your friend, and you can sit there and race together.
I went and checked on the dog as well, Tom. Well, on the dog food and everything else related to the dog. All right. So yeah, so we have some cool upcoming titles for 2024. Um, no camera, it's just audio. But no, really cool. And like you said, or like I was saying, I've never really done a video of like previewing what's out there and bringing it to the forefront so that we can talk about it right here today. I mean, so what are you guys excited about in 2024? Amir gives you a whole bunch of things to talk about. We could be talking about Le Mans Ultimate, which was up on screen. We've got Assetto Corsa 2, which we'll see the date if they make it. That's something certainly to get excited about. We've got GT Revival, the works of Ian Bell, the lineage of Project Cars. And, a lot of people love Project Cars. We were just talking about Canyons. We actually could have been talking about Project Cars. We've got Test Drive Solar Crown, which in theory is a game I'm excited about. I like the idea of something getting back to okay, here's the deal for me with Solar Crown. This game is the most without it being Grand Theft Auto. This game is I just want games to get to that Ready Player One. I just want open world environments. I'd like us to be able to drive to the racetrack. I'd like us to build, trophy rooms. I think that we're there, and I watch that movie, and I just feel like, wow, I'm playing games still that just feel, gosh, really 1990 to me. We bring up and talked about VR. Yeah, that's part of it. Like I just feel like it's the same way I've been doing it since it goes even beyond the 90s. I mean, when I got my first computer, I mean, was that in the 90s? Yeah, that would be the 90s. It was like mid 90s that I got my first computer. And I just feel like in some way, shape, or form, we're still just very, very right there. Anyway, Solar Crown, at least it's an open world environment, could be cool. We've got Rensport. David Payne is really disappointed. He heard it was going to be a short show. I'm sorry, man. I can never get things right. Rensport. Interesting. Pista. Now, what's Pista? I need to... Hold on. I'm going to...
This at, of course, a modding team, REG Simulations, and they're taking a huge bold step by developing their own dedicated sim racing platform. Now, they're going to be focused on replicating the Argentinian motorsport scene.
We had the first Mac. Like, it might not have been the first Mac. What was the year that all the Apple stores opened? It was that year. I'm guessing it was like 90. Apple stores opened across the nation, and if you went in to buy the first original Apple, I think we paid like $3,800 for it way back then. It was an obscenity. My brother was a student, and there was a really significant discount for students, so it did ease the pain. But no, our first computer was really, really early. My first personal computer, I guess, would have been like maybe a 286. I'm trying to think if I had anything officially before a 286 that was in the PC world. Or was that the first PC that you could really start building and buying yourself? I'm trying to remember. I remember like maybe my third computer was a 486 DX4, and I was so freaking excited. I remember that day to this day. So, anyway, so yeah, the Argentina team.
To the Turismo Pista adapted Fiat Uno.
Porn killed your first computer.
The Autodromo Seneglis are set to be faithfully recreating this title because to enhance the realism, The game is going to incorporate
So
live
really
racing,
known kick-ass
track
modding
animation,
group
and
getting
it's
into
also gonna
building
have
their own
dynamic
sim. That's what the
animation of
Pista
track
is.
surroundings, including
Japanese
the next
Drift
title we have coming
Master.
up in 2024 is Japanese Drift Master. Now, this title is going to be for all you Initial D fans out there, because this title promises an open world that
Now I can
fulfills
drink
the
more
Japanese
coffee.
racing fantasy that some people hope for in Forza Horizon that would deliver. Now, this game unfolds across miles of mountain roads, a blend of fictional landscapes and real-world inspirations, inviting players to channel.
How come nobody buys the Supra? Can anyone tell me why nobody buys the Supra? And with that, I think back to the Supra too. What do you think one of those suckers are going to be worth in like 10 or 15 years? I mean, how come nobody buys the Supra? Explain that to me.
Inner Takumi Fujiwara. This title is set against a backdrop.
I'm going to guess they're too expensive for the group that it's
Japan, and Japanese
suited
Drift
for.
Master goes beyond typical racing games by incorporating elements of visual novel storytelling. And it promises an immersive experience to include
No. Oh, was that a BMW?
With a specific the Autodrome
Was that a Z4? Fuck you. Was that a Z4?
that some people hope for that would deliver. Now, this game
Is that a Z4?
miles of mountain road.
That's a Supra, you guys. That's not a Z4. It is? Sorry.
Blend fictional landscapes and real-world inspirations, inviting players to channel their inner Takumi Fujiwara. This title is set against a backdrop of charming towns along Haikama Lake in Japan, and Japanese Drift Master goes beyond typical racing games by incorporating elements of visual novel storytelling.
That looks
And
cool.
it promises an immersive experience to include realistic.
They are the
driving
same
physics
thing?
with a specific focus on drifting and the ability
I didn't know
to
that.
customize Japanese
Really?
cars.
I had no idea
While
that
none of the cars in this title
BMW
are
and
officially
Toyota
licensed,
had
they
a
do closely
affiliation
resemble
like
their real-life
that.
counterparts. And this game introduces intriguing story mode where players assume the role of a foreigner determined to carve a name for themselves in the Japanese drifting scene. Now, the combination of immersive storytelling, realistic driving mechanics,
That looks
and
cool. That could be
customizable
entertaining.
vehicles really causes you to
Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. All right, this I'm pretty. I'll put some
Mud Runner
time
game.
into this.
And this title comes from the minds behind Mud Runner and Snow Runner, and offers a departure from traditional racing.
All right, Toyota. So I'm not losing my mind entirely, just partially.
This title is set to launch on March
I think.
2024.
You guys tell me.
It's going to be launched across multiple platforms, include the PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And the game
Oh,
is
I love
being
it. You have like
developed
a whole
for OS
purpose and point.
Entertainment as the most
Expeditions.
advanced physics-based
Oh, I'm gonna love
off-road
this
adventure.
game. I hope this
In
is
contrast
good.
to the typical racing
Man,
games,
I hope this is
players
good.
will immerse themselves in leading
Who's
race
excited about
operations
this one?
across challenging off-road landscapes.
Who's excited about
The
this
game
one?
introduces a dynamic element by allowing players to equip vehicles with cutting-edge gadgets such as drones and scanners, really adding a strategic.
Thank you,
element
Tom
to
Jones. You
off-road
make me feel better. You
exploration.
didn't
And a
know
really good
either.
twist, given the track record of Mud Runner series, known for its remarkable off-road physics and ability to turn slow-paced driving into an engaging
When is
experience,
this one coming out, Amir?
I'm really excited and anticipating the release of this title.
Oh, I can't wait.
Again, with the game's unique blend of
I'm sending
off-road
them an email
challenges
right
and
now.
scientific exploration, it really promises to provide an exciting and immersive adventure, pretty much making it a must-try for enthusiasts of the genre.
Losing our
The last
monetization.
title
There
I'm
we
excited
go.
for
That's
is
it.
Pacific Drive. Now, this title is going to be part survival
Pacific
horror
Drive.
and part driving game. And Pacific Drive promises to introduce an entirely unique premise.
Well, look at this. We were
really
watching the whole
immersing
video
players
again.
In a supernatural road trip across the Pacific Northwest in a beaten-down weathered station wagon. Despite really following its development,
February
I'm really
22nd.
not
That's
sure
coming
what
up
to
so
expect out of this
fast.
title, but I'm excited to try it out when it
10?
comes out.
All right, David.
In Pacific
I'll see what I
Drive,
can do about getting
players
some
can
giveaway
customize their
copies.
beaten-up
I'll
station
ask.
wagon, navigate multiple paths through a mysterious zone.
Worst they can do is say
while
no,
uncovering
right?
secret shrouded shadows and fog. But be ready for lurking dangers, and there's going to be an immersive driving experience. Now, this title is developed by iRacing Studios and published by PlayStation Studios. And Pacific Drive is going to be, like I said, a first-person.
Dave Blair, that was kind of my concern. I was just kind of being hopeful and optimistic that maybe it's a little more detailed or extensive than that. Because, yeah, if it's just sort of like drive from point A to point B and the mission ends with the helicopter spinny of the dinosaur, I'll probably be a little let down. But if there's some adversity fought along the way, a detour, you know, that could totally change it with just that little forethinking. So yeah, a few of us played Mud Runner. It was hilarious. Billy tried to push everyone off the mountain and couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and if we can pull off a BeamNG thing, we'll get into some heavy laughter, I'm sure. We'll be on EGS. What's EGS, David Payne? Every Dave has the same question. All Daves think alike. All right, so yeah, that is the latest, greatest video. Totally new style, totally new direction. Done by Amir. I really like it, and thank you for doing that, Amir. And super awesome, super awesome. Epic Game Store. Thank you. All right, so yeah, before I close that topic, what are you guys most excited about? So if we look at that list, Le Mans Ultimate, Assetto Corsa, GT Revival, Test Drive Solar Crown, Rennsport, Pista, Japanese Drift Master, Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, and Pacific Drive. 9 titles in that video. What of those 9 are you guys most excited for, most likely to buy or spend your money on? I do want to know how many people we have here. 40 of us. Come on, you guys. Get some answers. Only 40 people watching the greatest live sim news channel in the world. All right. AC2, Rennsport, AC2, Jap Drift Master gets a vote. Thank you, Chris. Mario Kart 12, GTR Revival, GT Revival. I love the way they did that. Totally suckers me into GTR. GT Revival is interesting. Le Mans Ultimate. Very curious on that one. I wonder if they're going to meet their deadline. And we do have a story on Le Mans Ultimate that we'll talk about. Getting back to that deadline topic, so maybe it's looking good. Assetto Corsa is a must-buy for Tom. Le Mans, Mud Runner, Pacific Drive. Amir's excited about Pacific Drive. Awesome. Brian, also interested in the Drift Master. Pacific Drive, David Payne, another vote for the spooky. Assetto related to the... Wondering how many improvements going to be this. Improvements, restrictions, Lucas, like, will it be super moddable? I mean, that's what made Assetto Corsa so great, was its ease for modding community to get involved. It's what made Assetto better than the title itself. Will they be able to do that? Boothie! Baba Boothie in the house. Sorry for being quiet. You don't have to apologize for being quiet. I'm glad you're telling us your thoughts, though. AC2 and Expeditions for Booth. Yeah. All right. So my pick, Le Mans for sure, because it's sort of like what will be the fate of R Factor 2 and Motorsport games. Assetto Corsa 2 for the reasons I just talked about with Lucas. The modding, if they can make it modding and I can get back to some of that drive any car track you want, that would be awesome. The heart and soul of sim racing. Absolutely Expeditions. If they did what they could do with that game, it could be really a unique, one of a kind, super fun, super awesome game. And then I still just kind of am a little hopeful that Test Drive Solar Crown ends up being kind of fun. But would it be better than Grand Theft Auto if that's what you're looking for? I don't know. And I haven't done enough, but I understand if you get some modding for races, specifically in Grand Theft Auto, that it becomes a pretty reasonably good racing sim even. Um, all right, Booth is entering the game. Lucas, yep, we agree with you there. There are at least 3 state DLC releases for ATS this year as well. That would be cool. So do they, so with and again, ATS guys and ETS guys, please let me know. So like the game or the sim flight sim, you get third party companies that obviously mod, but like you get super detailed packs. So like Southern California region and how many buildings and roads and things are modeled when you're flying around. But then you can buy packs. I don't know if it's for the newest version of it or if this is a dated concept, but it doesn't matter for my point. That would be like super detailed, super realistic version of specific regions instead of like the whole globe. Now, that just is part of your whole globe. Uh, do they do that for ATS? Like, could you buy a like super detailed California, or does that not happen? And with that, is there anything that changes the time parameters? Like, I noticed that I'm doing 300-mile runs in 40 minutes. Is there anything that makes it more one-to-one, just out of curiosity? I don't know a whole lot about ATS. I've certainly driven it, but I don't know that much about it. It better be moddable, Dan. It friggin' better be. But then again, Joe doesn't care. Dan's with me on Solar Crown will be fun. Um, I expeditions. That's the one. Regarding a Assetto, do you think it would be a situation of replacing the physics? Um, and using Assetto Corsa as an IG image generator, it is typical in big simulators. You're honestly talking about like beyond my knowledge of sim racing, Lucas. I truthfully don't know like exactly how that stuff is done. I'm not a coder of any kind. I just drive them. Interesting question that others that we have some people much more knowledgeable than me that might chime in some thoughts there. Expeditions needs Laura Croft in the passenger seat of every vehicle to get you into with AI chat. That'd be a game. That could certainly be a game perk. Um, you can get giant realistic signs and companies, and I know you can mod the hell out of trucks and things like that. Um, so they don't directly do what I was talking about, third party like super detail. But there are some pretty decent layouts and mods in that respect. Um, all right. I know we haven't even gotten to the news. We haven't even gotten to the news, Phil. That's okay. I'm enjoying myself. Hopefully, you guys are. All right, I am going to move into the news, though. Last chance to stop. Last chance to derail the show. John Hill. I'm not going to repeat that, but yeah. I don't want to make any enemies and start talking truck stop jokes and things like that. Uh, all right. In VR, Dave just. Oh, all right. Let's move into the news. You guys are sick bastards. So iRacing put this video out, and it just kind of made me laugh. I don't know if it is. Anyway, so vehicle artwork up there. Let's mute this. Vehicle artwork updates have been applied to the NASCAR Next Gen Cup cars to match the 2024 Cup Series season. I'm like, oh, it's so sad that that's what NASCAR is. It's like, oh, just throw the new grill graphics on it. Anyway, apparently the same thing for iRacing, and so that was done. I think I had one other iRacing thing to talk about. What was it? What was the one other iRacing thing? Oh, yeah, we did this last week. But I know it's coming. So they posted this. We talked about this on the very last show. But there's more than just rain. Take a look at the timeline editor for the Tempest weather system. Tempest. Ooh, anybody remember the game Tempest? Anybody remember Tempest? Who played Tempest? That's a way of finding out how old you are. If you say that you played Tempest, I can approximate your age group. Um, because you can't be much younger than me if you played Tempest. Well, if you played in the arcade, you can't be much younger than me. It did have a. I don't think it did all that well. Yeah, from the arcade Tempest, I played a lot of that game. That was one of my favorites. Excuse me. Sam, I am not going to do the Bathurst 12 hours. So, Sam Hinchy rallying the Simpit army. We have 3 weeks until the Bathurst 12 hour. Let the puckering commence. If you are into endurance racing, you know the Simpit community almost always has an entry into one of the endurance races. That's a thread that we have in our Discord channel. All you have to do is just drop in there and introduce yourself to the team, get out there for some practices, and you can pretty much get on our team. Yes, Tom Jones, Defender, which Defender then became Scramble. Wasn't Scramble like Defender 2? Is that, or was there Defender 2? Um, funny enough, there's a movie that came out called The Tempest right around that same year, maybe 2 years later, and I was all excited because I loved the video game so much. But of course, it was like some, probably that Shakespearean version. I think it was based in Greece, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, boring as f for a little kid, and it was like, oh my god, I think I made my mom take me to that. Space Invaders, Defender, Centipede, yeah, the OG arcades. So are they beercades? Are they beer? Yeah. So with pizza oven and beer. Um, I've been to some beercades. In Florida are the ones that I was at. Um, that it's kind of cool. Yeah, and they have all the games we just named. I mean, the Donkey Kong. Invaders, Defender, Mickey Thompson. Um, Christine is the best movie. Second is Maximum Overdrive. Those aren't even the best car movies, Dan, let alone best movie. Like, come on. All right, so the Tempest weather system lets you create a customizable weather experience with changing conditions through time that you specify with an intuitive editor. So does this mean that you have to all right, so if I'm a league admin, can I make rain come in and pass, and then another system come in and pass? And would that affect tire changes, rain to dry? And then is the weather Tempest system. So now does my pit box get a weather map that we can see and predict weather? Or would people privy to the weather system know when that was going to happen? I don't know. I could see that being a little problematic. But Corvette Summer, Dave Blair, of course. Of course, who hasn't seen? If you've played Tempest, then you've seen Corvette Summer. Because it was Luke Skywalker and Corvettes. Time Bandits. Oh my god. I love that movie. Yeah. Maximum Overdrive had the best soundtrack. I don't recall the soundtrack of it. Dark Crystal and Legend. I don't remember either of those. Gremlins, best movie ever. Gremlins was a very good movie. It's not true arcade if there isn't a bearded high school kid selling dime bags in the corner. Dad, just watch Gremlins. Cool. May turn then. Yeah, yeah, like make everyone duck into the pits for rains, but it never actually comes in. Ninja Turtles is the best fighting movie. It was basically an AC. Oh, yep. They both. Yeah, look at that. You guys know it too well. It's scary that you guys know it that well. No, that must be why you know it. I'm guessing you're both AC/DC fans, and so that's why there's some bond between you and that terrible movie. Terrible movie. All right, race room. Look at this. We're moving into a new topic, you guys. Race room. Take part in one of the biggest special events of the year this Saturday, that being tomorrow, the Race Room Daytona 2.4 hour. Sign up now. There's the form. Top Split in the EU will be streamed live. That's tomorrow for their big 2.4 hour race. Thunderstruck. Wasn't that like Cher? Wasn't Thunderstruck like Cher? You've watched it 100 times. All right. We're never going to finish today's show, are we? All right. It is confession time. What movie do you think that you have watched the most times? Fair enough. If there's any movie that you've watched, I mean, it might even be like one of those Christmas movies. It could be a Christmas Story. Just think. There are movies that we get baited into all the time. What movie have you seen more than any movie out there? And Dan DiMaggio says that he's watched Overdrive 100 times. And yeah. All right. Oh, great. Here we go. Casino. Interesting. That's a great movie, Tom Jones. Dave Blair says Grease. Are you serious, Dave? Dave, I almost don't believe you. You mean Grease like Newton-John and Travolta? Oh, strike. Tokyo Drift by far. Hinchy with Twister. Awesome. Memento for Chris S. Titanic, David Payne. Jurassic Park for Dan DiMaggio. Watch it every night to help you fall asleep. Home Alone. That could be one of those Christmas movies, right, Andrus? Taxi Driver. Seriously, Joa? That's a grind. Booth said the movie Grind, the skateboarding movie Grind, but the thought of watching Taxi Driver more than any other movie it sounds like quite the grind. John Hill said Inside Paris Hilton. I don't believe you. Big Trouble in Little China. Yes. I love it. Alesh Mom, it depends on whether you have kids. Yes, you're right. That could affect that, couldn't it? Dave's full of it. You're calling Dave out. Band of Brothers, the HBO series. That was a great series, Lucas. Alien or Aliens, David Payne. That's a good one. Your first VCR came with the movie Grease. So hey, you know what? That explains everything. Because if you go back into time, do you guys remember what it cost if you wanted to buy a movie on VHS back in the 80s? Like, think back to before the video stores even opened, because the machines came out before, and your only option was to buy a movie at the store, and they were like $100, right? So I can totally appreciate that, Dave, that if your VCR came with Grease, that you would watch it thousands of times. Yeah, it was your desert island movie, right? Because that's all you had. All right. Transformers, Kardashian's own movie. That's not a. Is that a full movie though, Andrus? I'm not sure if shorts count. Excuse me. Brave Little Toaster. I don't know what that is. Homemade. Yeah, Debbie does Dallas's players. Yeah, 10 years since the video store even existed. I mean, for those who are younger, it was videotapes, not DVDs. All right, so I honestly I do think, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but if I had to guess, I think the movie that I have seen the most, and I kind of gave it as a giveaway when I mentioned the holidays. I honestly think my most watched movie might be Die Hard. Walkie talkie Die Hard, mother. Um, yeah, yeah. Die Hard might be my number one most watched movie. All right, I think I'm just filibustering to make today's show ridiculously long with no news. Ready Player One, no, but I've seen that a lot of times considering how long it's been out. Um, all right. Lord of the Rings. That sounds like another. That sounds like work. Watching Lord of the Rings. Mothra or King Kong. You're talking to OG. Um, Basic Instinct. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, you pervert. No, I'm kidding. uh. Yeah, I watched Die Hard a long time, many, many, many times, long before it became a a Christmas movie. Wizard of Oz. So yeah, and anybody who's a little bit older, um, it is really sad about Bruce Willis. Really sad about Bruce Willis. But yeah, to be realistically, if you were any older than I am, like my mom's answer would absolutely have to be Wizard of Oz. Or what was the name of the Christmas movie? We were just talking about the original Christmas movie. Or even Shirley Temple, except they stopped doing Shirley Temple versus Wizard of Oz to this day gets played annually, right? Um, so Max, are you hurting yourself? I hear you whimpering. What are you doing? Come here. Um, Hi, buddy. Hi. Star Wars. I was gonna. Star Wars could have been if it wasn't Die Hard. I think Star Wars might be runner up, and it might actually be the actual winner. Dazed and Confused. I have seen Dazed and Confused many, 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 many times. Um, Dan, Dan's still arguing for Christine and Maximum Overdrive over all of these. Um, exactly, Phil. That's why it was a hands down. And I have to confess that I watch Die Hard more than once a year to this day. It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah. So anybody who's anything, uh, because before we had cable, it was just television. But they still played Wizard of Oz and It's a Wonderful Life every year, no fail. And around the holidays, you could probably see It's a Wonderful Life like 4 or 5 times. And you probably would because you only had 13 channels to choose from. Um, so yeah. All right. Cujo. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop. I just watched Beverly Hills Cop literally last week. There is no Christmas without these movies. It's true. They really. But when I was a kid, Shirley Temple was really big. I Shirley Temple wasn't just during the holidays, but it was like literally every Saturday, Sunday when I woke up as a child. It was Shirley Temple everywhere. But then she just completely disappeared. Like I don't, I don't think a young person knows who Shirley Temple is. They might know a Christmas Story though. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life. Sorry. All right, next piece of news. Next piece of news. Automobilista 1.5.5.4 is now live. Now, I believe that was what already happened, but following their Daytona 24, there were some new updates, including a bunch of AI improvements, including their ability to handle lap traffic, further tire physics adjustments, and other fixes. So that's a good one. Old Yeller's a good movie if you have kids around. The things they used to literally let us watch, like it was normal. Old Yeller, everyone watched Old Yeller, right? That's like grandmother, and it'd be like, oh, I get to order a Shirley Temple or a Roy Rogers because my mom didn't even let me have soda. So the only time I got any of that was if I was out to dinner with my grandma. So it was very, very special. Oh, I saw a tiny buffer there too, Tom. It might have been my internet doing a little blinky blink. Could have been my internet trying to connect to iRacing. Buff. Where did we get on the topic of buff? I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool, Callum. All right, what else? Gran Turismo had a video that I thought was interesting.
I haven't thought about Gran Turismo for years, and this was just revisiting the past. I used to play it with my teenage boys. A lot of good memories came back.
Gran Turismo means everything to my generation. The first Gran Turismo came out during my childhood. Looking back, it was probably one of the most pivotal moments in cementing my journey to becoming a car designer.
We had several designers that were doodling tons of little VGT sketches, and you need to go by their desks and ask them. That's not one of the programs.
Did any of you dream of being a car designer?
There's that kind of passion happening.
How many of you
on a project
grew up literally thinking, I want to design cars? I did, but I'm terrible at drawing.
We really wanted to capture
Terrible at art.
emotion out of the first read. The car needs to sit on the ground and feel like it's moving.
Yeah, Debbie Reynolds is huge in her day.
As soon as the leading design is identified, globally we assist
That's pretty
this
cool, John.
design by pushing it digitally around the globe. Our ideas get floated through Korea, they push them back to Europe, Europe pushes them back to us, and there's always the input from our leadership.
Okay, anyway, that's a cool video if you guys are just looking for something entertaining about. It's just car passion, man. It's just car passion. Speaking of, so Simicube, Mika Salo.
Hi, I'm Mika Salo, former F1 driver.
Hey, I'm Max Salo, I drive GT4.
I'm happy to say we are partnering with Simicube. We have equipment at home and it's good to practice with the best ones.
So the Solos say go Simicube.
Stay tuned for more content.
Joa. So, no BS. I have a friend who is a pretty decent artist who had a real big interest in car design. All right. And so there's a design school in San Francisco. It's an art design school that does a bunch of stuff. One of their big specialties is car design. This is like one of their big things. And so my buddy wanted to go to that school. And so I went with him there to their like orientation day. And we're in this auditorium and they're telling you everything about the school and everything goes on. And as we're sitting there, this kid next to us is just doodling and drew just like about as cool as you could draw like a fantasy type car. And it was just perfect and it was awesome. And he just did it with pencil and just scratch paper in a matter of minutes as we're watching this presentation. And my buddy was so humbled that he ended up not joining the school. I felt bad for him, but like I can relate. I just like, wow, there are people who can just like, it comes out of their mind and goes out on paper so well. Andres did this in high school. So in high school, his books were full of poor basic drawings of cars. All my cars, when I drew cars, they looked like they were ready for like old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, not for Genesis or Mercedes. Yeah, most likely, David. Most likely. But hey, I'll take a solo family endorsement. The newly released Simicube Valo GT23 is now shipping in the EU, so back orders are on their way. If you did get one, order now for immediate shipping on their wheel. Kind of cool. Moza. Now, check this out, you guys. No, I was thinking more like the, the dog that snickers and that guy and that purple car with like the jet engine on the back, kind of more like that. So this is Moza. I don't know what they actually do. I mean, Moza is part of Goodson. Goodson also does photo equipment. Wacky Racers, thank you, Tom Jones. This is their active suspension. Experience smoother rides with adaptive damping technology, steer-by-wire, navigate. Anyway, you know, when you're thinking about, oh, does Moza know what they're doing with electric motors and electronics? I don't know. They're just a Chinese company. Goes a little further than that, doesn't it? Oh, we didn't need to go full screen on that. We're all done with that. All right, GSI discovered the new FPE V2, where functionality meets passion. It's not just about the buttons and rotaries. It's about creating an emotional connection. I say that all the time, don't I? It's the center point of your rig, and every detail matters. Anyway, that's now... Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Whoops. The reason I'm showing it is because then they show some of their testing of their new design, talking about refinements they make. They make a prototype. They'd all drive it. They'd make some adaptations, change it, do a new prototype, and so on until they're actually happy with the product. Showing different flavors, which... See the different flavors? So this is the same wheel in all these different configurations of colors. And that's awesome. And we were talking earlier about the GT Neo. And there are other wheels. The GT Neo is not unique in what I'm about to say. But it allows you to just stylize the colors. I mean, I like being able to change the backlit buttons. And, you know, some might do a configuration that is intuitive to driving. Like maybe everything that shouldn't be touched should be in red. You know, like the tow button or, you know, pit limiter. Maybe make them red because don't touch. Maybe you want to, you're flashing the lights. Maybe it would be white. It makes a lot of sense for that button to be white. So maybe you have an intuitive setup, color coded to help you remember what they do. Or maybe it's just about looking cool and getting a color design that matches your sim room or your favorite color scheme or whatever. But anyway, that's kind of what this wheel's all about, and one of the reasons I do like Tom Jones, a double up for the day. Look at Tom Jones getting in on another
it's very
effort to get us
nice.
with more frame rates per second here on the show. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Keep the game going. We're going to keep it going. I'm in no hurry, but I am running out of material. Still got a useless screen. You know, it's such a great, you know, I'll keep saying it over and over and over and over, but, you know, different strokes for different folks. Do you need a screen? I love screens. Like, there's things that are really cool about having a screen on your wheel. And at the same time, when I was reviewing the GT Neo, it's got this super low profile, and I'm like, oh, look at all that stuff on my screen that I don't normally see over the top of my wheel. So, it does really depend on you know, each individual's going to have a preference there, and nobody's really wrong. But yes, if you're not into screens, it's a useless screen. Yeah, or locked out suspension, John Hill. I thought about that too. I was like, yeah, on that cup one. So on the cup moment of the video in particular, I can't fast forward it. I'm not going to wait for it. Oh, here we go. Where was the cup? There we go. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, so you guys made the suspension, so we turned off our stuff is actually just locked out. Yeah. The Q1S Noah 1. Okay, I can pull it up and double check which one that is. Is that the first sequential that had... I should do a review. I have one here in the shop if that's the one you're referring to. Is that the one that has the display? The gear indicator display on it? The Q1S SQ? Or is that the second one that they got rid of? I do have the original one here in the studio, and I did not review it. And there wasn't really any reason why other than I was a little annoyed by the display. The Q1 was the first one with the LED. Okay, so yeah. Oh, the Q1S. No, I never got a Q1S. I didn't get a Q1S, unfortunately. I could reach out to them and try to get one. I would like to. It's a nice looking shifter. Now, there were things that I liked about the Q1 because it had the same kind of mechanism built into it as like the Quaife shifter, which makes it a very, very desirable feel for a sequential. So, decoding the mystery. I didn't get time before the show to read this article. Box This Lap posted an article that I will read because I'm just interested, but you could check it out yourself at Box This Lap. Decoding the mystery, why VR isn't the go-to for sim racing pros. Pros being the word. Performance, yeah, but that can always, believe it or not everyone has the best hardware. Absolutely. VR demands much higher. Absolutely. Field of view and resolution. VR is a true achievement in terms of immersion, but there's nothing else quite like it. But this is where one of the most compromising factors comes out, the FOV. For many, it's uncomfortable to be continuously turning your head to see cars around you, especially in drag racing. For this reason, triple monitors are chosen. Did they just use the word pros in drag racing, though? I'm not sure. If you want the Max, you can get the Pimax Crystal. That is why we're trying to get a new one. The Q1 gear shift display. Now are you kidding me, Joa? Oh, then I totally need to bust that out. I'm going to bust that out and get a review going on that one right away. Noah, like, that's a tough call. I'm not a huge advocate of shifters, despite reviewing them and having an opinion on the way they operate. When it comes to sim racing, I do not find myself using a shifter very often. The key word there, racing, sim racing. If it was sim driving, I think that I would be a lot more likely to get an H pattern because the times that I would use a shifter, that's probably the route that I would be going on. You know, again, I'd be driving a Shelby Cobra, you know, and I want a 4 or 5 speed transmission and I want a clunky gearbox to do it. So yeah, if I personally were to, now if it's for racing, I'd probably go sequential. So like on the Forever rig, I am thinking about putting a sequential because it's the shifter that I would most likely use. Because here's the thing, when it comes to sim racing, I don't know if I want to miss a gear shift when no one else is because I forced myself to run an H pattern. Now, if I want the enjoyability, and sometimes I believe that you're a little more in tune, like when I use a sequential, I find that my downshifting pattern is better matched to the car than when I use paddle shifters. When I use paddle shifters, I tend to downshift too quickly and too early, and in some cars that can be very problematic. And I find that with the sequential shifter that I don't have that same issue. I'm much more in time. And I don't miss shift like I do. I just have to take my hand off the wheel compared to an H pattern. But, you know, we're talking about driving the canyons, driving Pacific Coast in a car with the top down. Then I want an H pattern for sure. So, yeah. Yeah, it might even be a single player versus multiplayer answer. Tiredness, other reasons, tiredness and sweat. I totally agree. That is an issue that I have had with VR is I get worn out a little bit, and I do find that I run hotter for sure. Overlays and retransmissions, yep, absolutely. And competition at the highest level, which I don't know if I agree with that. And I don't necessarily agree with the field of view. I think that's overcomeable. You're very welcome, Noah. I hope I answer your question adequately. Le Mans. Okay, so Le Mans Ultimate, you know, which is in that video that Amir had done as one of the upcoming games. Le Mans Ultimate being one of those games. They are doing an early access. So Le Mans Ultimate will be available to the public in early access form on Tuesday, February 20th. So that makes me believe they're running on time, and we're going to see this title very, very soon. And it looks like they're just going to. I'm not sure if the early access is going to be for them to get some opinion and testing, or if it's just sort of a marketing. But yeah, if you want to potentially get early access, it can be done. And I'm just going to put a link. I didn't read. This was submitted. I didn't get a chance to read it all before the show, but I'll give you guys a link. And you could check it out and see about getting yourself some early access to Le Mans. Glad I did. Thank you, Noah. You're welcome. All right. Let's see. I talked about this guy years ago. Ryuji Urabi. 93-year-old sim racer. And he is, I think, on him that Logitech wheel. Anyway, there's a really good article at Box's Slap on the guy. He has passed on, but kind of talking about the legacy of a man who had so much passion for automotive culture and whatnot. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. Somebody posted this and thought it was really interesting because we did talk about him when this article or this video here came out. We talked about it many years ago. So David S., we're 4 minutes away from two hours. We're gonna hit the 2 hour mark. So there you go. For you guys. Let's see. Looks like all I have is some sim pit racing. And some sim rigs. So, we do run some racing series with the sim pit. You guys know about it. Most of you guys knew. If you're new to the sim pit, we do run a rally league. We have a road and oval iRacing league. We usually have some Assetto Corsa Competizione stuff as well. We're off season on a few of our seasons, but one of them that is running currently is the Sim Pit Rally Series on EA's WRC, and I've been trying to make some cameos. I've had some bad runs, but ultimately it's a really good club. You have all week to post your time, and let's see, right now they are on Portugal, Rally Portugal, and if I can remember how to go back in time. Let's see if I can do this right today for the first time ever. Japan, Croatia. What happened? Oh, no. Wrong championship. Come on, Cole. Sweden, Mexico, Croatia. There we go. Croatia. Number 6. Overall. All right, so at the Croatia Rally, it was P.S. Deadman winning the event. David S., multi-champion David S., coming in second. And Douglas Freshness finishing third. So those are our results from the Croatian Rally, which ended just yesterday. Good job by you guys out there. And then let's see if the back trick will work. Nope, but we can do this and get to our season. Hey. Why'd it go back to that? I don't like the way they do this. Stage overall, but I want the whole championship results, which we had. Nah. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. What happened? Clubs. Scroll all the way down. Is that the trick? There it is. It's right there. Thank you. Dope. All right, so after 4 events, it's Alesh Mom leading with 77 points. Great job, Alesh. P.C. Deadman sitting in second place with 76 points. And Bloody McGee sitting in third with 63 points. So good rallying going on in the Sim Pit Rally Series. Great job, you guys. In the Sim Pit Oval Series last week, we were actually at our only road course of the season. We were at Circuit of the Americas. I say we because I did make the race. And it was Johnny Alford who won the event. Johnny was just untouchable. Qualified, I believe he qualified first. Yeah, and his lap time was a 1:48.442. Johnny tearing it up at Circuit of the Americas. Joe Antonio finished second. And I actually finished in 3rd place, so I had a good run this last race. And our next race is Talladega. Is that right? I think we're at Talladega. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. Yep, Talladega. And that'll be coming up on Monday night. All right. Dave Blair, I missed you. I missed your name. Where do you want to be? Whoop. There's a knock at my door. You guys, hold on. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. No, it wasn't a swatting. Nope, nope. It was a new delivery. It was a delivery of a new product. I don't know if I can talk about it, so I'm going to just shut up right there. But I'm glad I got to the door. The FedEx guy knows who I am and what I do, and he will not just leave stuff on my door because he knows that things that deliver to me are like extremely expensive. He actually has a KTM Duke 390. So he and I talk motorcycles all the time, the FedEx guy. So anyway, no, that wasn't Thomas. If the cops are there, my full name is Andrew White. I didn't look in the sim rigs section of our Discord channel. Did you guys post any rigs this week for me? Oh, and we have the Camus. That's right. Almost forgot it, you guys. Can you believe it? You would have killed me, wouldn't you? All right, so Camus has a new wheel out. Do you remember when Camus made that motor and wheel combo built together? Do you remember that? But it was only like 3 Newton meters. I have one. I haven't gotten around to it. I have one here. It's kind of cool. And now they actually have a 12 Newton meter version, which is kind of astounding. Anyway, I better get on that little one. If they're going to send me this big one, I better finish reviewing that old one. So, all right, Dave did put something in the rig section, so let's check that out real quick. Post your rig. There it is. Post your rig section of our Discord channel. Let's see. We've covered that. I can't see names. Those are some hinges. People are giving some tips. Andrew's showing his rig. Let's put this here. This is Andrus's rig. 10-year-old Deathmobile. I love it. You called it a Deathmobile. Andrus, you're great. Ooh, Amir. Okay, so we've talked about the Forever rig. This is what Amir's coming in with. Look at it. He's built this center console. He bought a 3D printer just to be able to design and make this center console. Little SimPit logo built into it. I love it. Holding his... There's your Sim Magic shifter. And... Oh, here. Even better. Look at that. He coated it in like Alcantara and carbon fiber. How cool and how slick and cool looking is that? I love it. All right. Oh, Matthew Dawson. I'm not even going to do Reddit rigs today. We're going to end with just you guys have kept me entertained. Got it. So there you go. Fanatic is obtainable. Awesome. And, oh, I love what he did here. This is also Matthew Dawson. On the wall. Love it. And then here's a nice shot of his sim room. Very cool. Very cool. Nice work. All right, Dave Blair. Dave, what is this? Dave Blair, you know I would do this. You know I would totally do this if I could. Guy doesn't even have a SimPit sticker on his Mazda. What the F? Full Mazda. Or is that a BMW? Is that a BMW? Got the handbrake in there. How nice is this? This is cool. Those look like Logitech pedals almost. I don't think they are, but oh, PS4 got the Moza. Joa calling me out. Where's mine? That's a good question. I'll have to do some work. I need to do a few things. I'm not sure what the next step is. I have a few things I have to do real quick to be able to compete with this. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Let me pull up your guys' chat. I kind of had to put chat away while I was looking at those links. It's Andres. Yeah, I love it. It's for the ISR Deathmobile. That is awesome. Thank you for that, by the way. Stephen Dager working on bikes. Listening to this, I love it. Matt Wagner, nice to see you in chat with us. And thank you guys for post your rigs in the post your rig section. I appreciate that, by the way. It's a Supra, Tom. Was it? So was that? Was I right? Was that a G20? It is. It's a modded Logitech setup. Oh, what a crying shame. Look at how beat this car is, by the way. I just want to, for the record, point out that I spotted those Logitech pedals sticking down from way back there. No. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. That is a true Deathmobile. Well played, Tom Jones. Well played. You guys, I think that's going to do it for today's show. It's just another short show. I don't have a lot to talk about. Not a lot going on in the sim racing world, of course. And, you know, just trying to keep that vibe, the sim racing vibe going strong and positive. Thank you for being part of it. I love doing the pit stop in particular. I mean, I love everything we do at the Sim Pit. I really love the pit stop because it's my time to hang out with my friends, my bros, and just talk about sim racing, which, you know, we get to race. We get out there, we race, we complain about lobbies, this and that. Not a lot of places where you just get to kick back and talk about sim racing and just as a hobbyist. You know, when I used to be into RC planes, you would, yeah, you guys can keep the show going if you want. I mean, if you have more to talk about, I will entertain topics. But yeah, you know, when I was in the RC world, you know, you head out to, you spend all the time building your plane alone, sure. But then you head out to the airfield and you get to see other people's planes. You get to talk to them about things like that. And, you know, it's got that rubbing elbows element. You know, if you get into amateur racing of any kind, whether it be karting or lemons or whatever, same thing. You do a lot of garage work. You do a lot of practice on your own. But then you do get put together and you get to again, see what other people are doing and rub elbows and make friends. get tips, help, all that kind of stuff. Sim racing world, with us being global, yes, we have our chit chats here and there, but for the most part, we are very isolated in the world. And I love the way the pit stop is a way that every week we get together. I've always wished that we'd get a bigger community talking about sim racing. It does honestly baffle my mind that more people don't show up on Fridays to hang out and watch the show. It is a difficult time for a lot of people, with it being during work hours for North America. But even with that, I'm shocked that more people don't get involved in the sim racing commercial conversation. It does blow me away completely. But you guys are here, and like I said, it is my favorite way to start off a Friday every week. Just getting psyched up for the weekend and ready to get out there and do some sim racing. And so I hope you guys feel the same way about it. And just like I said, get out there, do some sim racing. Thank you for being here today. Yeah, put it in your calendars. The 17th. I confused my dates. 17th. Tomorrow is Saturday the 4th. 2 weeks from tomorrow, 17th, will be the next Sim Pit podcast. Me, Amir, Dan DiMaggio, and Billy Strange. I'm about to have a coughing attack. Forgive me. Sorry about that. So definitely want to be there for that one. Definitely an easier time for most people to make it there. Thomas CEO Fanatic versus Sim Magic CEO, which I think that's Barry. I think is his name. So I saw it. You retracted it, but I already saw it, Nicholas. So, all right, you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for kicking off the weekend, and get out there and do some sim racing. This is the Sim Pit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.